Hi, it's Monday at 11 o'clock. Welcome to the Chazz Palminteri Show. Excuse me, every Monday at 11 o'clock, always a brand new episode. And you know me, I have interesting people on my show. I don't worry about, having a niche, getting into the same people all the time. I meet somebody I like, I think they're interesting, put them on the show. I'm not worried about follows, even though we get quite a few million views here. So, but it doesn't matter because the reason why is because I like interesting people that have a story. I've had movie stars, I have Academy Award winners, Tony winners, Grammy winners, great singers, actors, great dancers, and then regular people that have a story. Because I believe in stories. I'm a man of stories. I'm a writer. I believe in stories. Now, my next guest is, I like to get, when I talk about a profession, I want to get the top people at the top of the profession. Because if you're going to you want to talk about football players, I like to bring in Hall of Famers. Talking about music, I bring in Billy Joel, Sting, people that really can do it. Alan Menken, 8-time Academy Award. And this guy, when we talk about cigars, he's in that category when we mention cigars. Cigar Aficionado. This is a great magazine. It was started in 1992 by the genius of Marvin Shanken. He's the one who created this. And we're going to talk about that. The gentleman I'm with now is the executive editor, okay? And Dave Savona. Is that right, Dave?
That's right, Chazz. Thank you.
Dave, have you been with it since 1992? I'm just curious.
No, a couple years after. I've been here since 1995 with the magazine.
Okay, so, when Marvin started this, did he have any idea it was going to be the success that it is?
Marvin had no idea it was going to be such a hit. As the story goes, he came back from a trip to Cuba, talked to his top people at the magazine publishing company, and said, I want to start a cigar magazine. I've got to do it. And they all told him, no, bad idea. You're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose your reputation.
Right.
He went against their advice. Yeah, and it turned out to be a runaway hit. Cigar Aficionado became a big hit.
Now, has Cigar Aficionado been a hit since day one?
Basically since day one. He likes to say it was profitable since day one. It caught fire since day one, which was really unheard of in the magazine business. Yeah. Absolutely.
Magazine business is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember because I knew John Kennedy Jr. And when he started George, they expected that to just blow. And it didn't. It had its tough time, It had its tough time. But
usually it takes a while to find your footing. But Marvin found that there was a huge number of cigar lovers around the world, especially in the United States, who were seeking a voice, wanted to find a home. And Cigar Aficionado provided that home for them and that buying advice for finding more out about great cigars. There was a big audience out there that was untapped before Marvin found it.
Yeah, that's, when I hear that, it just, you look back at that, Dave, and you go, no one else thought of this? He was the first.
He was really a pioneer, and it takes a lot to make a glossy, beautiful magazine like this.
Yeah, look at that. Gronk is on the cover. That's a great cover. And I have to say, that is a great cover. And Cigar of the Year. Now, I bet a lot of people try to get in your magazine.
Absolutely, in terms of people who have cigar brands or people who want to be a part of the book in one way or another, and it's been a magazine with great success and great popularity, and we're lucky to have that.
Right.
But we try our best to cover the world of cigars. Talk about great cigars, give buying advice, which is at the forefront of the magazine. Buying advice to our readers, talking about rating cigars that they might find in the store to kind of give them an idea what to expect. Because cigars can cost a lot of money. They could be $20, they could be $50, even $100 a cigar, and just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's a better cigar. Just like you were saying before, you're talking about your wine, which is a $22 bottle of wine.
Right.
A more expensive bottle of wine doesn't mean it's a better bottle of wine necessarily. So when we do cigar ratings in the book, we rate them blind. No, we don't have a band on it. We don't know what it costs. We don't know who makes it. And sometimes the cheaper ones outscore the more expensive ones.
Now, do the same people smoke? They rate them, the same people?
Yeah, the panel's the same. We have about 5 people on the panel. I'm one of the people. I did some ratings this morning before coming here.
Yeah.
So I get a cigar without a band on it. I scored, whatever from, in the 70s all the way up to 100 points. And only after it's all done do I have an idea of how much it costs, what country it's from, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Now, and again, that's why I'm going to talk about my cigars, and we knew that. And first of all, I want to thank you so much, you and Marvin, for we're new cigar makers.
Yeah, sure.
Paulie, Paul de Silvio. So when I thought about this, because Paul said, I really want to do a cigar with you, and I said, well, I am not like a real aficionado of cigars, but I said, well, once in a while I smoke. But my grandfather was. He was he loved cigars.
How often do you smoke a cigar? Do you smoke them
every day?
Every day.
No, every day. Twice, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
For my whole life that I remember, So, and I said I could dedicate it to him, Dave, because I said if it wasn't for my grandfather, Calogero, I said I wouldn't be here, And that's why we came up with the first one, the Bronx Tale. That's the premium one. That was the first. And then we had the Calogero, which you guys were very, you gave a great review, and which really helped us a lot. A little stronger. And then we have the Sunny coming out. Now, this is supposed to be the strongest of all. That's not out yet. That's why we made it red. Sunny was a kick-ass guy. We figured we'd make it
a little more oomph for Sunny.
A little more oomph for Sunny.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's really an immigrant cigar, David. And the beauty of it is people buy the cigar who don't even smoke cigars. They buy it as a gift to give to their grandfather, uncle, grandparents, and say, thank you for coming to the country here. And these people don't even smoke, but they save it and they put it on the thing, which is really nice. And that was something that I thought was really very helpful. Again, I want to thank you and Marvin for all your help.
Well, it's our pleasure. And again, when we do rate these things, we don't know what they are.
You don't know, right?
Yeah. So when that came to me, I might have said number 14. So we rate them as they taste, as they look, and as they perform.
Right.
So we try to give it a really objective rating as best we can. So again, we don't know what we're rating. We take it very, very seriously because we're out there to serve the reader.
Because you can make or break a cigar. I mean,
we can. Cigar Aficionado has, it could be a launching pad for a newer brand.
Right.
It's been tested buying advice for readers for, my God, more than 32 years now. It's been a long time the magazine has been around.
I mean, that's, you have some pedigree behind you. So, Dave, you've been there 30 years. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Of all the pieces that you've done, of all the celebrities, is there one that just kind of just sticks out in your mind that was such an incredible success?
One story that really sticks out, we did a cover package on Winston Churchill years ago when Gary Oldman played him in the movie Finest Hour.
Yes.
You like that movie? It was
one of the greatest.
Great movie. We had John Meacham do a big piece on Winston Churchill. But I joined with one of my fellow editors, Jack Bettridge, and we tackled this story, drinking and smoking like Churchill. So we wanted to see if Winston Churchill really lived up to his reputation as a legendary cigar smoker and drinker. Because the legend was he always had a cigar in his mouth and he always had a drink in his hand. And so we did some interviews. We found some old cigar shops in the United Kingdom that actually had records of his cigar buying. And we were surprised to find that the myth really was true.
Really?
He smoked so many cigars, and not just the Churchills that he was known for, but he smoked cigars all sizes, all shapes, all brands, and they had these beautiful ledgers with his handwriting, and they have a chair where he used to sit to select his cigars, and the guy smoked cigars all the time. I mean, he woke up in the morning, smoked a cigar, and finished the day with a cigar in his hand, and he drank the same way too. Somehow he drank like a fish, he smoked like a chimney, but he saved Western civilization, so maybe that's something
he did something right. Yeah.
He did something right, yes. That one really stuck out. That was kind of an interesting piece.
His cigars, did they name him the Churchill?
Yeah, he smoked this one size in particular, the 7x47, especially from Romeo Julieta, and they called that size the Churchill after him because he smoked so much.
So they named it the Churchill.
They named it the Churchill because of him.
Is that the biggest cigar?
It's pretty close. It's the second biggest of the regular sizes that they come up with. The double Corona is a little bit longer, but the Churchill's a nice size. It's a pretty big
What
cigar.
size do you like smoking?
I like Corona Gordas, which is like a 6x46. So actually kind of, a little bit like this. Maybe, it's like a Corona Gorda, so not too thick, not too long.
Right. Well,
that's
a nice solid cigar.
Yeah, nice solid cigar, maybe a good 40-minute smoke or so, yeah.
When did you start smoking cigars?
I shouldn't say this, but I smoked my first cigar when I was way too young. I was 13 years old, and I grabbed a cigar with a good friend of mine down at the local convenience store. We puffed on cigars.
13?
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. We just kind of said, let's try it out. But then I started smoking for real, like, more serious when I got to college. In college, I started buying cigars, smoking them in the dorm. Back then, they had a smoking room in my dorm. So I'm like, okay, I'll smoke cigars every once in a while.
What college did you go to?
I went to a little school in Massachusetts called Framingham State.
Okay.
Yeah, Framingham, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
English major.
And English major.
Yeah,
okay. So when you started smoking cigars, Was there a love that you had for it that you said, I'm going to do this for a long time?
There was something about it that I liked. I enjoyed the flavor. I enjoyed the reflection. If I would take a walk or sit, I usually would do it alone because I didn't have a lot of friends who smoked cigars in those days. So I would sit either there in the dorm or take a walk on the campus, and it would kind of get me through the day, let me reflect on maybe something I had to figure out.
Really?
So I enjoyed the moment of relaxation. I enjoyed the quiet time, and I enjoyed the taste.
Did you smoke cigarettes?
Never smoked cigarettes in my whole life.
Never smoked cigarettes?
No, I always stayed away from cigarettes.
Well, the thing that I love about cigars, and see, but not in your case, because I would say you're a real cigar smoker. Because cigars and wine is you open it up for an occasion, or just like friends. It says something. Wine, a cigar says, here, friends, here, bottle of wine. So it has the connotations of a friend, which I like.
I agree, and as I got older, and certainly now when I'm not smoking for work, when I smoke for pleasure, it's almost always with somebody that I care for, a good friend.
Right.
My son is 21 now. He likes a cigar with me once in a while. I've got a great group of buddies in town that I smoke with, and that's really special. That's
Right,
really special.
exactly.
Yeah, it makes them taste better.
It makes it. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I never heard it put that way, but I heard that about wine.
Yeah.
Opening up a bottle of wine with friends makes it taste better. Yeah, so it's the same thing with cigars. Yeah. Okay, so you grew up in Connecticut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've been smoking cigars. So you went to college. You became a English major.
English major, yeah. I wanted to write novels. That was my idea.
You wanted to write novels,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
many people do.
Sure.
I knew I wasn't a novelist. I knew I was a playwright and a screenwriter. I just knew it. I just didn't have that person, the first person, third person. I didn't have it. I wanted to write images because I think in images.
Okay, so when you're writing, you see the images.
I see the image.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I write in images, and I knew that I was a playwright or a screenwriter. Other people, when I read, I love to read, when I read books, and you read Hemingway and these people, and I just go, wow, like, holy shit! How could he say it like that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I'm thinking about you writing a screenplay, because I couldn't write a screenplay. So I'm in awe of that.
To me, that came, I'm dyslexic, so I
didn't know that. Okay.
So I just could do it. But then when I read some great novels, and Moby Dick, and I read it, and I just, wow, I go, damn. Like I just read The Godfather recently.
Yeah.
And the book is incredible when you read the book. Okay, so when did you wanted to be a writer?
I wanted to be a writer, yeah.
And then you decided.
Yeah, and when it was decided for me, I'm like, I want to be a writer. I want to write novels and short stories, and I'm pecking away and trying to get things sold. And then, I graduate college, I got to get a job, and I see a little ad in a newspaper for a magazine, and I apply for the magazine, get a job doing that, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, magazines, I could do something with this. And then I said, I want to write for this Cigar Aficionado magazine, because I saw a Cigar Aficionado magazine on sale. I'm like, that sings to me. That I understand. I like cigars. My God, there's a magazine about cigars. Get me there. How do I get to this magazine?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is before email, so I start calling, I start faxing, I write letters until I get somebody on the phone, answers my call. I get an assignment for the book. I write a story in one of the books, and then I pestered them enough until they finally hired me. So I was persistent.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been working for them
30 years now.
Pretty good gig.
It's a long time. Pretty good gig, yeah.
But doing something that you love to do.
Absolutely love it. I mean, I the job is fascinating. I get to meet great people. I get to do cool things. I get to smoke cigars all the time. And I've got a lot of pride in putting this magazine together. In addition, I think we have some of the best collection of readers anywhere. People write us letters all the time. We see them at our big smokes, our events. Yeah. They talk to us. They say, oh, we love Cigar Aficionado. A lot of people really enjoy this magazine. It gives me great pride.
Yeah, I have it. I look at it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Read it. Yeah,
it gives me great pride to be a part of it. It's a wonderful world that Marvin created, and I feel very lucky to be his executive editor.
The amazing thing is that, but you can see, and that's why when I just looked at it, every time I see a cover, the people, I don't know who the people are who set this up, the stylists, just terrific.
Oh, we've got a great art team that puts these covers together and makes the book sing, makes the book look as good as it does. So
yeah, but the inside, the quality, you could be, look, hype is one thing. You're around 30-something years and people love the magazine. I'm sure that the top people stay on top of this thing. Everything's got to be good. I'm like that. I like everything to be great. You know.
That's what we try to do. We try to do as best as we can.
Now,
Yeah.
do you taste any difference between the Cuban cigars and American?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think Cuban cigars have a certain taste. When we're rating cigars, I always tell my tasters, don't try to figure out what you're smoking. Just judge it. Give it a score. But if you really dial it down and smoke enough of them, Cuban cigars tend to have a certain taste that's a little bit different than
You can tell.
If you're really thinking
Like
about
a
it, you can
Cohiba?
tell. Yeah, I couldn't necessarily, if you take the bands off, tell you this one's a Cohiba, that one's a Bolivar, that one's a Monte Cristo. But if I think about it enough, maybe. Yeah. But now Cuba also has this great mystique, right? Because Cuban cigars are illegal in the United States.
But are they as great? Are they better?
It's a great question. See, in this year they weren't. This year the number one cigar was a Nicaraguan, and Nicaraguan cigars tend to outscore the Cubans in our books. So, at their best, Cuban cigars are fantastic. They're not always the best in the world. Some people would argue with me, but I smoke a lot of cigars.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you would vote it if it was the best. You would say it was the best.
And Cubans have won it a bunch of times, and I love Cuban cigars. I smoke them all the time, but. Making a cigar over and over again, Nicaragua tends to do it better than just about anybody else. And
Really?
followed closely by the Dominican Republic, and Cuba's in the mix too. But Cuba has some troubles, all kinds of troubles. It's a country under communism. They've had a brain drain. They don't have they don't have as much investment, and they're not operating under a capitalist system. And when you have a business that operates under capitalism, things tend to. I'm a big believer. I'm an American. That's how things tend to work better. Right?
So you think if Cuba was a capitalist country, it would even be better?
Yeah, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with people from Cuba with this, but yes, absolutely. I mean, I think the companies operate better under a capitalist system, checks and balances, repercussions if you do something wrong, the consumer goes somewhere else. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and maybe it's possible. And I'm just saying this. I don't know.
Yeah.
A Cuban's been living a long time on their laurels, so we know that we're with the forbidden fruit. Everybody wants us, so don't worry about it. It's fine.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The people who make the cigars in Cuba, they're passionate too. They have a real desire to make cigars as best they can. But there's certain things that they just don't have because of the embargo, because of the system they have, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Now, Cuba is a big island with some areas of land that are absolutely stunning, and they grow some of the world's greatest tobacco. That said, there are still limitations on what they do. Also, I think it'd be a very sad day to only smoke cigars from Nicaragua or Cuba or the Dominican Republic. I like to smoke from all over the world because, like one day you want to have an Italian one day you want to have a California one, same kind of thing.
That's a good question. I wanted to ask you. So when you rate these cigars, I mean, like I said, hey, you can make a break. Were there any cigars where it was really controversial, where you gave it, and where it was like, what the hell? And people got upset with you?
We get some blowback like that every once in a while. Probably the biggest chatter we had, this is our top 25 issue where we name our cigar of the year. And just about every time, the number one cigar is the highest scoring cigar. Back in 2008, I think it was around 2008, when the economy was kind of going through a little fits, we finished the test, and the number one cigar was 1 point higher than this number two cigar. But it was a $30 cigar with the highest score and a $5 cigar with the second highest score. And we named the $5 cigar the cigar of the year. It was the Casa Magna Colorado Robusto. It was such a value. You could get 6 of those for the price of one of the other ones for 1 point. So we said, that's the cigar of the year. So the guy who got the number two was a little bit upset with us.
He was upset.
He was a little mad, yeah.
But you didn't know.
No, we did it at the end. So the score was
Okay.
given, and we just made the choice of making the number two the number one, basically.
Oh, so he had to be upset.
Yeah,
Do you remember when you did Tony Soprano?
Oh, sure, yeah. We put the
He was
Sopranos
a
on the
cigar smoker.
Oh, yeah, we put the entire male cast on the cover. Yes, absolutely.
You had the whole male cast?
Yeah, so we wanted and that was before I was the executive editor. We approached Jim Gandolfini to be on the cover, and he wouldn't do it alone. He said, I want the whole cast. And Marvin said, okay, I can't do the whole cast. He goes, how about the whole male cast? So he got the whole group together, and he had to do the front and the back. So he gave up the back ad to do the Sopranos front and back. One of the best covers we ever did.
Right. Was that a big seller?
Big seller. The magazine sold out. The posters sold out. You can't even find it. It's hard to find that issue in our office. Now.
Really?
Yeah. It's probably one of the most popular ones we've ever done. Yeah.
Do you would the biggest selling issue you ever had? You think it was that one?
That might be it. There was also one we did with Pierce Brosnan at the very end of the cigar boom, the first cigar boom in the 1990s. That's back when we were quarterly, and the magazine was like 500 pages. That was a monster, big monster.
So this comes out every.
We're now 6 times a year. The magazine comes out 6 times a year. And it's available on newsstands and in cigar shops. It's a cigar lover's dream. And we're more than just cigars. We're also,
Right.
fine trips, good eating, golf.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a men's lifestyle magazine,
I
absolutely.
think, I think when I spoke to Marvin, he said that to me. It's
Yeah.
more just not cigars. It's a lifestyle of wine, cigars, travel.
Right, good drinks, good smokes,
Good
and
drink, good
and
smokes.
and we have an event every year, twice a year actually. Our next one's in Las Vegas,
Right.
The Big Smoke, Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that one,
I
but
wish you could be there.
if I'm not on the road doing something, I will be there.
It's 2 nights. It's Halloween, October 31st, and,
Right.
and November 1st out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas for Halloween, you can see a little craziness. It could be
A
fun.
little crazy. Aside from Cuba, Nicaragua, Dominica, where else? Like you would say to me, tell me a place that you go. You would say, Chazz, you wouldn't believe it, but so and so they make great cigars.
Yeah, the cigar world's kind of small. It's mainly, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras, and Cuba for the main big producers.
Main ones.
Then you've got, the United States still makes some cigars.
They do.
Yeah, it's small factories. You see some outposts in Florida and Jersey, and of course on Arthur Avenue, there's a little factory down there too.
Arthur Avenue,
yeah,
that's right.
Which I think is amazing. And I was just down there visiting with Paulie, Paulie Cigars, who's part of your brand here, of course.
Yes.
And it's absolutely amazing and so much fun to go onto Arthur Avenue. You see your butcher shop here, your deli here, your great restaurants, and they're right in the middle of it all. Is a cigar factory, a working cigar factory with 10 rollers making beautiful cigars right there in front of your eyes.
Right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's a treasure.
And that's, Paulie started this 30 years ago.
30 years ago, that's right.
And just about the time they started Cigar Aficionado. So we got to give a shout out to Paul DeSilvio for his genius starting the, LCG cigars.
It's a great idea because I think most people who smoke cigars, they don't necessarily know what goes into it, how much labor, how much skill, artisanship it takes to make a cigar, a beautiful cigar. And there you could see it right in front of your eyes. And it's easier to go to Arthur Avenue than it is to go to Honduras and Nicaragua.
So do you? Now there you can smoke it like Paulie explained to me, a fresh cigar.
Fresh cigar, yeah.
So as
sure.
soon as they do you like that taste?
Sure, it's a little bit different if it's right off the roller's table because it's a little bit more moist than you would typically get in a cigar that's been boxed and sitting around for a bit. So it smokes a little bit differently, but it's very cool to watch it being made, and it's very cool to smoke a cigar like that as a variation on other types of cigars. Sure.
Right. So as we were saying, so where in the United States or where in Italy they make cigars?
They make some cigars in Italy, mostly by machine. The cigar industry is big. The handmade cigar industry is small. So where they make them by hand, all by hand, using basically just tobacco, time, and water. That's basically the only ingredients. That's only a handful of countries because it takes a lot of skill, and it's hard to find that labor force, and it's hard to do it in the United States. I don't know how Paulie does it with the prices he charges because it's expensive to have people roll cigars in the U.S. A lot cheaper to do it offshore. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
When do you think? What is the most? Okay, so there's the tobacco. They pick the tobacco, right? And then they blend it,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and they blend it with another tobacco. Or?
Sure. So you can make a cigar using tobacco all from one country. That's fine, especially if it's a country that has a lot of different variations in growing areas. But most people who make cigars outside of Cuba make cigars from blends from other countries, a mix of countries. So a cigar might have a Dominican and Nicaraguan filler, might have a binder from Ecuador. They grow good tobacco in Ecuador. Could have a wrapper from Connecticut. You could have a whole United Nations in one cigar.
So making a cigar, you would say, Dave, is an art.
Oh, absolutely an art. Absolutely. Making cigars is an art form. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because you're creating the taste, the blend.
Yeah, so the blender literally sits there with a bunch of tobacco leaves around him or her, grabs a leaf here, grabs another leaf, puts it all together in the hands, and now you got to do it just right. One little mistake, you pinch it this way, you roll it that way, and the cigar won't draw. You can screw the whole thing up. So you put the whole thing together, you roll it, you put another leaf around it, boom, and it sits for a while, then it's done. I've tried it myself. It's really, really hard to do.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
In wine, you get the wine, you finally get, and you taste it.
Yeah.
What do? You smoke the thing that you just did? You have to wait.
Oh, to taste how it, yeah. So that's a hard thing to do. So with wine, you basically you crush the grapes, you bottle the grapes, and it's expected to be different one vintage to the next, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. With cigars, they're typically trying to blend to maintain a certain style, and those ingredients are always changing, right? So it rains too much one year. This field's a little drier. There's fewer leaves, so you have to make your adjustments. So what they do is in the tobacco warehouses, they'll go in there, they'll grab leaves of tobacco, just a leaf, and they'll roll it around a cigar and take a puff to see how it tastes and see what they need to do to make adjustments. So it's very difficult.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like you're cooking, but your ingredients are always changing a little bit, so you have to make your modifications. I don't know how they do it.
So are there people, I'm sure there are people in this world who are known for being great blenders?
Absolutely. There's some wonderful blenders out there. Yeah, especially, again, in Cuba, they're blending only with Cuban tobacco. Outside of Cuba, they're blending typically with multi-countries worth of tobacco. It's a very interesting process. And
and those people, those blenders,
yeah.
They're like freelance. They can work for any company.
Typically, it's the owner of the factory. The owner. So, if a factory owner usually have a few cigar brands, and typically the head of the operation is like the master painter, right, or the master chef, and has the blends and that he or she creates, and then gives that formula to the workers, and they take that form and then they do it. Yeah. So it's some people have it written down, some people have it all in their head.
Can cigars taste different from one and the other?
Absolutely. They try to make them all the same, but
that's what I mean.
Yeah, sometimes they don't. The really good companies blend them the same and do a good job of making them consistent. But consistency is tough in this business, especially because you're blending solids and you're blending things that change quite a bit.
Change.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been really interesting.
Well, I'm glad you find it interesting.
No, because I never really got into the minutia like this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful business. It's a wonderful business, and it could be very difficult. I've got great respect for the people who make cigars and who make great cigars. Yeah.
What was I know this might be a tough question to ask. What was the best cigar you ever smoked?
Wow, that's a good question. One
of the greatest.
One that really stands out for me when I was hired by Cigar Aficionado in 1995. I had a number of interviews, and the final interview, I went out to Marvin's house, and he gave me a cigar to smoke during the interview, like to kind of really get to know me. And he gave me a Punch Double Corona that was a few years old at the time.
Punch Double Corona.
Yeah, so it was about 7.5 inches long, big cigar, probably one of the biggest cigars I ever smoked at that point. And also, I had driven out to see him, and it was kind of dinner time. He offered me some food, but I didn't want to eat. I was a little nervous, so I had an empty stomach. And I didn't smoke as many cigars back in those days, so I smoked this whole cigar, and it's getting better and better. I didn't want to put it down. And it was absolutely mind-blowing and fantastic. It was delicious.
Now, how much would that cigar be in a store, you would say?
At the time, it was probably only a $15 cigar. It was a long time ago. But nowadays, if you could find that cigar, it'd be like a $30 cigar, I guess.
$30 cigar.
Yeah. Again, not one of the most expensive cigars in the world.
Still.
But fantastic cigar. Fantastic cigar.
Now, there's Davidoff.
Sure.
You've seen that cigar. Are those cigars just better than everybody else's, or they're just, again, it's a taste?
Davidoff's a luxury brand with a luxury price,
right.
and they make impeccable cigars in terms of their construction and their consistency. If you like the taste of a Davidoff, you're going to get that same taste over and over again. And they have they charge some very high prices for some of their cigars. They've got one cigar they charge $600 for one cigar.
Now, okay, let's discuss this.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's a whole new trend there. Uh-huh.
Could you buy a box of $600 cigar?
Actually, those come in single boxes. I don't think they have a multiple. Yeah, it comes in one box. They call it a coffin. It's $600, one box, one cigar.
Have you ever tried it?
I have.
And how is it?
It's good. It's good. It's not $600 good in my opinion, but I don't think I'd pay $600 for any cigar.
But don't you think a lot of that is just hype and perception?
Well, it's like I think it's much like a Rolls Royce, right? Is a Rolls Royce that much more of a car than a BMW, where it's a very expensive. They do some special things. Things are that's $600 is a lot of money for a cigar. Now there are cigars that cost even more than that. It's kind of crazy. We've been
more than that.
Yeah, there's I think the most expensive cigar out there right now, regular cigar. I'm not talking about auction prices. It's like an $850 cigar, a Cohiba from Cuba, special Cohiba.
$850.
Yeah, one cigar. Crazy, right?
Now, do they have a lot of those?
A fair number of them, yeah. It's not like it's a one-off or anything. It's the cigar world's gotten a little crazy. The Cubans started it with raising prices. They said, okay, Cohiba and Trinidad are luxury products and should be priced accordingly. 6-7 years ago, you can go down to Cuba and get a big Cohiba for like $30, which sounds like a lot of money. I thought it was a lot of money, but now it's cheap compared to what they cost now. Like a big Cohiba, typical Esplendido, say, would be about $120. whether you go to Cuba or London, etc. So they raise prices across the board, saying this is a luxury product and should be priced accordingly. And that kind of opened the door for other cigar makers to raise prices. So that doesn't mean you can't get a good bargain anymore. You still can, but there are a number of very expensive cigars out there right now. So it's kind of a new market with multi-$100 cigars.
Okay.
I did a quick Google search on the world's most expensive cigar. Take a guess at how much just one cigar is.
I would say $850. What'd you find?
Yeah. Okay, it's 1.36 million per
Okay,
cigar.
what are you looking at? Which one is that?
That's got to be an auction one.
It says, I'm probably going to mispronounce the name, but it says Gurkha Royal Courtesan.
Oh, the Gurkha. Okay, Gurkha does a special thing. Yeah, that's a bit of a one-off. Sure.
And then the next one under that is at $507,000. Mayan something. Sakara.
You should look at our website.
I'm curious, like what justifies them being like over $100,000? That's so wild.
Well, there's cigars that go for a lot of money at auction that are like there's certain cigars that I could see paying a lot of money for because of their age, right? Like an old pre-Castro Cuban, a cigar that was made.
Right. But does that mean it tastes good?
I've smoked cigars like that taste very good, but spending that kind of money does not guarantee you're going to get a great cigar.
Like a bottle of wine.
Like a bottle of wine, sure, yeah, And that's one of the reasons we do what we do with the ratings. Every issue we have, more than 70 cigar ratings, just to kind of show you that you don't necessarily have to spend that much money for a great cigar.
That's why the magazine does so well.
Well, we try to be true to the readers.
Yeah. I want to remind you all, if you want to come and see my one-man show, it's back on tour, the Broadway show. This is the original show that started it all. John, where am I going to be?
So October 4th, you're going to be in Mashantucket, Connecticut at the Great Cedar Showroom in Foxwoods Casinos. October 10th, you're going to be in Peekskill, New York at the Paramount Hudson Valley. October 12th, you're going to be in Des Plaines, Illinois at the Des Plaines Theater. And October 13th, you're going to be in Chicago, Illinois at the Columbus Day Parade Medal of Honor Award.
All right. Well, that's where I'm going to be. And I gave you like the next 5-6 weeks. But if you want to know where I am for the whole year, the Broadway tour schedule is go to chazzpalminteri.net. chazzpalminteri.net. Don't forget my restaurants, 2 of the great Italian restaurants, 30 West 46th Street, Manhattan, 365 Main Street in White Plains. My wine, the Cabernet wine. Where's my Cabernet wine? Let me get that something. Here it is. Cabernet wine, it's sold at all the Stu Leonards and at your local wine store. Great Cabernet wine. I'm talking about great. It's only it was $22 because I wanted to make it a price for the working man, the working people. What is the middle ground, would you say, where most people pay for a cigar?
Yeah, for a good cigar, like you find on these pages, I'd say anywhere from $9, but without taxes, $9 to $12 for one cigar. That's kind of the sweet spot now.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, and you can find a lot of stuff in that price range. Yeah.
Now, so you would say a $20 cigar is you're pumping it up there.
Sure, and you can get some great cigars in that $20 range. Absolutely, yeah. But you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to go that high. You don't have to go.
Really?
That high. Yeah, I mean, I smoke cigars all the time that go for like $7 or $8, and I'm very happy with them. I get good prices on cigars though myself.
Well, you get good prices. Yeah. No, I could see that. But that's so when you start talking $40, $50 cigar, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and usually there's some special cigars, like maybe a special anniversary. They do some exceptional packaging. Maybe there's some rarity to it. There's all kinds of little things that might justify a price bump that gets you into these rarefied air territories. And sometimes people just are charging more money because they think they can. And the market rewards or weeds out those things. Sometimes they say, hey, it's a great cigar. Yeah, we'll buy it. And sometimes they're like, it falls by the wayside.
Okay, so you do the blind test, right?
Yes.
You're one of the people.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just curious. So if I don't tell you, this is a $100 cigar, and here's a $9 cigar, could you tell the difference?
Sometimes yes, sometimes. Usually I should be able to, unless the prices are all out of whack. There are some $100 cigars that don't smoke as good as $9 cigars, but for the most part, the $100 cigar should smoke better. Should.
Should,
It
right?
should, yeah. Doesn't always work that way.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, you're married?
I am, yes.
And does your wife mind that you smoke cigars?
My wife does not mind. My wife's father was a cigar smoker, is a cigar smoker, and And she likes the smell of cigars. She smokes cigars with me once in a while.
And you don't smoke in the house?
Not anymore. I used to smoke in the house. I stopped once we had our son.
Yes.
Yeah. But we used to live in an apartment in New York. I used to smoke in the apartment in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, she's pretty good about that.
You're a diehard, man.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
a diehard.
Well, you know,
man.
it's what I do.
Well, I got to tell you, man. Well, I mean, I'm really fascinated by the whole thing. I was just fascinated by it. I got to have you back on the show again.
I'd love to come back. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No,
Chazz.
really. This is here, Dave Savona, cigar aficionado. This was started by Marvin Shanken. He's the genius behind this. 1992, Marvin started this. It is truly one of the classic great cigar magazines right here. Pick it up. They can pick it up anywhere, right?
Yeah, most newsstands, most cigar shops have it.
Most
Yes.
cigar shops, newsstands. See Gronk. See the Gronk, man. My son just did a movie with the Gronk. He was pretty good as an actor, not bad. He was all right. Meanwhile, I'm not a Patriot lover, I can tell you that.
I'm a Giants fan too.
I'm a
with you.
Giant, diehard Giant
Oh, good,
fan.
good.
But Dave, it's been a pleasure. You're a great guest. Thank you for the incredible knowledge of bringing all this to my listeners, all the cigar aficionados out there. And I appreciate you coming. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chazz. Really a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. All right, that was the Chazz Palminteri Show. Don't forget to go to chazzpalminteri.net. See the Broadway show on tour. God bless.